Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a necklace. And I always say the hardest part of making any piece of jewelry is the creation. And I will play with beads sometimes for days, or set something up and look at it, and just until I feel like I see, oh, this is what I want to do with it. So I've had these beads for a while. They're crackle beads. And I've decided to take it and add some Swarovski crystals to it, because they will accent and complement just a plain bead. You know, you have a bead, but then you put some crystals with it, and it just seems to just make it blossom, and just perfect. You know, makes it much nicer. You'll see as we get going. So I've gone ahead and pre-cut a piece of wire that I know will be just long enough. And I'm going to, don't forget to put your little clip on the end, because you don't want to have any accidents. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my bead, and I'm going to put a 3mm Swarovski crystal. Then I'm going to use a 6mm crystal, and then another 3mm, and then another bead. And then I'm going to just keep on doing that throughout. We'll go ahead and start beading it, and you'll start seeing it take shape as we go. Got the bead, the 3mm crystal, the 6mm. Swarovski crystals are gorgeous, and they accent any piece. So anytime you add crystals to a piece, you're adding value and beauty, and that's my personal opinion, because it just makes it stand out. Okay, so we're going to continue just with the beading, using the crystals and the beads. I love the creating. It is very hard though, you know, sometimes you'll have a piece, you'll have beads. I've had beads for a year and just keep looking at them. But eventually it'll come to me. Remember to always, like I said, always get more than enough beads so that you don't run out. Better too many than too little. Sometimes this gets a little bit tedious. You might want to use a pillow for your back to make yourself more comfortable, or get a beading tray. Set something up that maybe you can even sit on your bed or in a chair that's more comfortable, and you can bead any way you want. I bead everywhere. So here we go with the crystals. Crystals also now, they come in lots and lots and lots of colors. These little 3mm crystals, they're the white crystal, or the clear crystal. These are AB. That's Aurora Borealis. And it has a coating on it, and they sparkle twice as much. And the other ones are called Sunfire. Lots of times you'll get a piece made, and you'll see right in the middle of it where you've made an error. I do that still all the time. I still do that. Also, the Swarovski crystals have satin finishes, AB ×2, lots and lots and lots, hundreds of colors and styles. And when you go to start getting your crystals, you'll just go crazy like I do. I love getting new crystals. They've got some new colors out that are just great. They're yummy and they're beautiful. And this is a little tedious, like I said, but if you're making one right along with me, then you should be about nearly halfway through your necklace. It's always better when you're starting out to use your bead tray to measure, because it has has little grooves for each size of necklace. 16, 18, 20 inch. And that way you can just pick them up as you go. And then when you get a little bit more into it, then you won't have to do that. You can just measure it and go. Gee, by the time I get done with this, I'll be sick of orange. Just finish up this beading. What I'm going to use this time is I'm going to use a toggle clasp, and they're very elegant. And when you're using something with crystals in it, something that you might wear out, or that's the kind of clasp you might choose because it is elegant. And they come in all different tones and sizes and shapes, and all different prices too. They can range. I mean, I've seen clasps that go, up to $100. Also, the clasp, you can get clasps that hold more than one strand when if you want to do a double or triple strand necklace, which we might do in a future video. I'm not sure, but I will have future videos, and we'll be learning lots and lots of other things. But right now we're doing just basic stuff. I just recently went up to Julian in the Southern California area, and a nice little town. They're famous for their apple pies, actually. And I did get some apple pie, and it was really very, very good. And eventually made it to the bead store and picked up some real nice stuff. If you're a bead maniac like I am, you'll probably spend a lot of time in bead stores. But it was fun. I picked up some sea opal, beautiful pieces. I'm gonna make a nice little creation out of that. And but it's a nice little town too if you're looking for a day trip and you live in the Southern California area. You might want to do that and have a piece of apple pie when you go. Almost done here. Also, there's I'm sure you've heard by now, if you're as crazy about beads as I am, but if not, there's bead shows you can look into going to, and that's like being a kid in a candy store. You have all these vendors, hundreds of vendors with beads and beading ideas, jewelry that's already made, people that go there sell their jewelry or their wares, and pick up tools there. And meet people who love beading like you do. Those are really fun. That's an all-day event, though. You plan on going and spending the whole day. And buy all kinds of different kinds of beads. Okay, so I've come to the end here. Instead of the bead, I'm just going to use a couple of crystals to just finish it off in the back. Okay, and then I'm going to go back over to this side and move my clip. You don't want to forget that. And so we're going to just finish off here. And okay. Okay, so now I'm going to do my clasp, because this with the clasp and the beads will set. Okay. All right, so what we're going to need is the finishing bead. You can use anything, even another bead for a finishing bead. You don't have to use what I use. You'll learn as you go along what you like, what feels good, what's easy to use, what's easy to get. You can't always get the same things over and over. You go back to buy something and it's not there anymore. So I'm going to use the gold beads instead of the silver. Okay, I'm going to just put one on here. And then I'm going to put on, because I'm making a necklace and it's just a little bit heavier, a little bit longer, I'm going to use 2 crimp beads. You can use 1, you don't have to use 2. I just do it just to make sure that it's strong. I'm going to put in another gold bead, just like on the bracelet. This is the exact same thing. Only this time I'm going to use a toggle, and that's it's 2 pieces. They come together. You lock them inside of each other when it's done, and I'll show you when I've completed the whole piece. So I put the one end of the toggle on. I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. I'm going to go back through the balls and the crimp beads, and I'm going to go through one of the crystals here, and I'm going to pull it back like this. Okay, and then you bring it back here. You've got your piece you're going to hold on to right here. Okay, and you've got your 2 crimp beads here, and you just reach in there and you squeeze. You squeeze your 2 crimp beads, and then you're going to come back around like this, and you're going to squeeze them again. Okay? And then you're going to do the exact same thing to the other side, only you're going to be using the other side of your... Now be sure to feed your wire back into your beads, or in this case your crystals. It hides the wire, and if you leave a piece of, leave a piece of wire, it gives strength to your piece that you're making, so that it's just not cut right here at the end. If you cut your wire here at the end, you run a risk of it breaking. This way it's fed back through the beads, and it just gives it just a little bit more strength. Okay, so we're going to go back over here to this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to put my little gold ball on here, if I can see the hole. There you go. And then I'm going to put my crimp beads. Like I said, I use 2. You don't have to. I choose to. Just for my own, just for myself, to know that I feel comfortable with it. But you certainly do not have to. That's just my preference. Okay, I've got them on there like that. And now we're going to do the other side of the toggle. So we're going to feed it through, and you're going to take the wire and you're going to feed it right back through your little gold balls and your crimp beads. It looks easy, but probably it doesn't. But it probably does look pretty easy. But it does take a lot of practice. It's not something that you're going to be real comfortable with, but you'll gain your control. You'll gain control. You'll be able to do it how it feels comfortable to you. You're not going to do it exactly the way I do it. And then I'm going to pull it. Now what I do with the toggle, what I want you to do is I want you to feed it through like that, okay? And that way, it's the way it's going to be once you have it on. And you haven't finished yet, because I have found, just trial and error, I have found that if I go ahead and hook the toggle and then finish it, there won't be any, it won't be too tight. It'll just rest the way it's going to rest when you have it, when you're wearing it. So now I'm going to take it with the toggle in place, and then I'm going to finish it right here. See? Okay? And then there's my 2 gold beads and my 2 crimp beads. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp these 2 beads right here in the middle. See there? And then I want to come back around and I want to crimp these 2 beads like that. Just press them tight like that. And there they are. And the last thing I'm going to do is clip my wire. And let's move my little beads over if you can see well right here.